Hello, everybody. Today I'm talking about Sun in Gemini. It is a disturbed sun because it is with its great enemy Rahu. There are going to be two eclipses that the sun participates in. So, this energy is something that we need to. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton, and we are talking about Sun in Gemini. So do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. Sun is in Gemini. Usually, this is quite a pleasant transit, but because Rahu's presence is there, and Rahu's presence means that when there is a new moon in Gemini and a full moon in Gemini, there are going to be eclipses. I made separate videos on the eclipses. I'll put a link that you can watch it. So, twice a year, the sun goes through an imbalanced energy. And twice a year, we have to be very cautious, careful around the time when the eclipses are taking place because our soul, our inner energy is getting disturbed. And Rahu becomes very prominent because Rahu or Ketu, depending on who the eclipse ink body is, will create unsettled energy. So we had the last solar eclipse was in December, and now the solar eclipse is in June, and last one was Sagittarius. That was a Ketu eclipse. Now we are having a Rahu eclipse. So the Rahu eclipse is right on the summer solstice in northern hemisphere, winter solstice in southern hemisphere. So it is a very important eclipse. It is shaking up the whole world with the energy that it is bringing. So what we have to see is that sun will be from 14th of June to 15th of July in Gemini. And this is Vedic astrology. Gemini is different from Western astrologers. So this is a Vedic astrology channel. And the end of this journey also shows the change of course of the sun. Sun moves from Uttarayana, which is the sun coming towards the earth, to Dakshinayana. Dakshin means south, and it will go towards the southern direction. So this is also a key change of energy for the sun. Sun is going to be in Gemini. It moves into Gemini on 14th of June, and at the exact almost immediately Rahu is there. Rahu is about 5 degrees of Gemini. So when sun is moving there on the just before the eclipse, sun will conjunct Rahu and then will move away from it. So 20th, 21st is the sun Rahu conjunction, and the eclipse is on 21st. And this is not visible in North America, but it is visible in parts of Europe and Middle East, North India, southern China, and ends in China. So we can see that this disturbing energy for India, China during this eclipse. And secondly, because the sun is eclipsed, those people in power, whether they are presidents, prime ministers, or CEOs, or people who are head of organizations, they can feel unsettled, insecure. They can make wrong decisions during this time. So if you are one of those people who is at the top of the tree or at important positions in life, then you have to take very carefully any decision you take. In fact, I'm advising my clients that to wait till 5th of July before making any decision. But sometimes, we can't wait. Then if you have to do something, then you have to be very cautious, careful. And also because the sun represents the soul, your inner Atma. Therefore, you can feel very disturbed. And what Rahu does is that Rahu wants to take you off your correct path. So he makes you anxious and worried and makes you want to rush into doing things. So it is important not to do that, to take care and to not make any unusual decision or rush decision during this time, and keep life very simple during this transit. Sun will also conjunct with Mercury on 29th, 30th of June, but Sun Mercury conjunction is quite a good one. It is not a negative one, but it's more difficult for Mercury. I made a video on Mercury. You can see that as well. So the thing is that after that, Sun continues in Gemini, but then lunar eclipse on 5th of July. So 5th of July, the lunar eclipse is there. Now, Sun is not with the eclipse, but he's opposite the eclipse. So, but he's participating in that eclipse as well. So again, the mind, emotions are all churned up with this energy. So the Sun feels disturbed throughout this aspect. So without looking at your personal charts, I can't say exactly how you're going to deal with it, but it is important that you are being aware of this, and that is what Jyotish is very good at, that it makes you aware that these situations are there so that you can do something, you can take a balancing action regarding that. Twice a year we have the eclipses, and it's an eclipse season. So for almost like 15-20 days the eclipses are on. This year, because there are 2 lunar eclipses and a solar eclipse, it is expanded to over a month. So energies are very volatile, and therefore we don't know that what action we take, what is going to be the result. And that is why it is important to be conscious of it, even if it is making a good transit for you. And if you are in Rahu Dasha, Rahu Sabdasha, Sun Dasha, Sun Sabdasha, Antara Dasha, then it is more intensive for you. Then Sun is also Karaka for health. And of course, we are all in overall health crisis around the world. All of us are suffering. And what is important is that you have to take great care during this time because Rahu is shadowy, these shadowy energies, that viruses and things that we are dealing with. So we have to be conscious and careful and not be in a rush to do things and rush to have fun or enjoy life, because this is the eclipse time. And the Sun, which is Karaka for health, is conjoining Rahu. It is creating this kind of spike in situations. So be extra cautious during this time. And I would say the whole time, but specifically Sun Rahu 20th, 21st of June, the eclipse 21st of June, 4th, 5th of July. And of course, you know, the US Independence Day is on 4th of July. The lunar eclipse is very close to USA Independence Day. So USA is very affected by this transit in Gemini, because their Sun is also in Gemini. So careful is the mantra for the month, and just be conscious of this energy. Year is divided into 2 halves. There is Uttarayana, which starts from 13th of January till 14th, 15th of July, when Sun goes into Capricorn, till when Sun goes into Cancer. So this is the Sun coming closer to Earth, and especially in the northern hemisphere, it shows the days are getting longer, and we have hotter weather. And then Dakshinayana, which is when the Sun moves towards away from Earth, and that is from 14th, 15th of July right up to 13th of January. So end of this Gemini transit, Sun will change direction. And it also starts with the month of Shravana, which is very spiritual month. I'll talk more about it later. The thing is that these are kind of shift of energies. We don't feel anything, but they are important Sankrantis. The Sankranti at the end of this solar month will be important. And Sun, because he is the clock and he is creating events. And so this Sun Sankranti on 14th of June, this clock highlighting more troubled areas, more unsettled. People are more afraid or worried. And so, don't feel that you have to be worried or afraid, but what you have to do is what is your responsibility, and to take things carefully and slowly. So let us start with how it affects you. Aries, the sun is in your third house of self-effort, action. The eclipse is in the third house. So for Aries, it is very important that they go slowly. There's no impulsive action. Don't be angry. Take, any initiative with care. Because Rahu is aggravating that energy, and Sun is there in the third house, so it is very powerful. Taurus, sun goes into your second house. Usually that is time to think about finances and how you're going to organize your monies and all that. But the second house is also eclipse over there, and it is Rahu is also there, and too much energy. And I would say that this is not a month to plan any investment, any savings, any spendings. That will be the best thing. But for you, you are protected because Venus is in Taurus, and it will go direct on 25th. So that is a good aspect for you, 25th of June. Gemini, of course, the eclipse is taking place in your ascendant or your moon sign, or sun sign even, because it is right there. And especially sun is going there. Usually that is again a okay transit where yourself is being highlighted. But at present, the Sun Rahu combination is giving some indication that you are ready to make some changes and transform and change. But this is not the time to do it. Allow the sun to change and move on. Mercury is also in Gemini, and there's a Mercury Sun conjunction on 29th, 30th of June. So you are a little bit burnt out, overdoing things. Mercury will be retrograde. So lots of things happening and lots of contradictory messages that you're getting. So just be aware that all that glitters is not gold. All what you're getting is not the right information. So process it, take time, and then the other side, when the eclipses are over, you can think with clarity. And when Mercury also goes direct, which is I think 12th of July. Cancer, these energies are all in the 12th house. The sun is in the 12th house. Usually, when sun goes into the 12th house, it's highlighting expenses. And those on a more spiritual path, it is highlighting the thirst for moksha, self-realization. But Rahu is also there, and Rahu means that there are certain issues that you have to resolve before you can go on a more spiritual path. But the sun being there also can give grand expenses. So definitely don't spend what you cannot afford, and don't take on big expenses. Keep your expenses tight for now, and let the sun change and move into Cancer before you make any decision. Leo, of course, you are ruled by the sun, and the sun Rahu combination, even though it is in your 11th house and a good placement, it is not the easiest energy for you. And your whole identity is under some kind of crisis at this moment. And you can feel unsure about what you want to do. That's not a place you usually are, but I would suggest that, there is the eclipse and there is, the sun with Rahu and the enemies or outside people, a lot of criticism that you don't like usually, and people are trying to influence you, maybe in the wrong way. So think about that. Also, money is a key area that you have to watch out for. Virgo, the eclipse is in the 10th house. Also, sun is in the 10th house. Now, 10th house transit is generally the best. So, it is sun going into the 10th house is highlighting your career. But because the eclipse is there, it is showing that there are some changes afoot. Of course, I would say globally, everybody's career is having changes. But for Virgo, if you're Virgo moon or Virgo ascendant, then this change is quite, unsettling for you. But Mercury is also there. I feel there's a lot of protection. So, especially after the eclipses are over, you will find things easier. Libra, the sun has moved into your 9th house. Rahu is also in the 9th house. I would say for Libra, 9th house is father, guru, dharma. Rahu is definitely not following the rules, and sun is being influenced for breaking the rules. Sometimes breaking the rules are good, sometimes it is not good. But when there is a sun Rahu combination by transit, you should know that this is not the time to break the rules, because you don't know where you're going to land up. So that is important. Be careful any advice you get, because you may be getting some more selfish type of advice where you are not necessarily benefiting from it. Scorpio, sun goes into your 8th house of change and transformation. Sun also rules your 10th house. So therefore, there's career opportunities, there's some unsettled energy, eclipses happening. Sun is usually a good planet for Scorpio, but this is a disturbed, unsettled time for you. So to be extra cautious and careful. Sagittarius, the eclipse is in your 7th house of relationship, partnerships, a spouse. Obviously, either you are having some issues that you are dealing with regarding relationships, or your spouse, better half, long-term partner, whatever you say, are feeling unsettled, disturbed, so you can be supportive of them. But generally, the best thing around this time is, as I've said so many times, is to, cautious, careful, take your time. And Jupiter will come back into Sagittarius on 28th, 29th of June. And so that itself will be much easier, better time for you. So post the solar eclipse, but still, the unsteady nature of the eclipse, almost like the last eclipse was in Sagittarius, solar eclipse in December. And this is kind of culmination, the opposite eclipse. So be conscious of it. Capricorn, the eclipse is in your 6th house, sun is in your 6th house. And sun being in the 6th house, 6th house is a house of opposition, obstacles, and sun, being in the 6th house may be not the best energy, because you can have strong opposition, people not always being your friends. However, generally 6th house transit is regarded as quite good for malefic planets, both Sun and Rahu. However, I would say still that Sun, Rahu are there, the eclipses are there, that cautious is good. Don't be in a rush to do anything. Aquarius, Aquarius, the sun is your seventh house ruler. It is going to be transiting your fifth house of children, creativity. Seventh house is your spouse, your better half, your partner. So they are feeling unsettled, not sure what they want to do. Of course, Gemini means they're multitasking what they want to do. They're two-minded about what they want to do. Children can play important part. If children are not there, it could be creative ideas. But you have to just tell them, advise them also that this is not the time to make far-reaching decisions. This is the time to just pass day to day activity, and there's plenty of time to make decision later. And you yourself can concentrate on creative things, on ideas, but process. Don't do anything about it as yet. Take time to process the information, and later on you'll think maybe some of these things are worth pursuing more. Pisces, the eclipse is in the fourth house, so home. Definitely you feel unsettled at home. You may be thinking, I need to make a change. I want to have another home, or I want to make some changes at home. And fourth house also, your nurturing, your happiness. So it's a good time to nurture, to make some effort, to do something positive for yourself. But again, Jupiter will come back to Sagittarius, which will be much easier for you after the 28th, 29th of June. So that is a much better time. So wait till that, but I would say wait till after the eclipses. And once the sun has finish the eclipses and sun has get out of the Rahu zone, then all of us will feel very energized. So that last thing after the 5th of July, then sun is in Gemini, Mercury is in Gemini, all the disturbed energies behind us, then we can feel much better, much more energized. And this is something to look forward to, because we have done it, we have passed it, and things, if we have been careful and cautious, then they haven't been that negative or difficult. So that is it for today. Thank you again for watching. Do remember to subscribe and press the bell notification. And I appreciate you all very much.